We are at
Central Bistro.
Central Bistro.
17th and Central in Denver, Colorado.
And this is Guzzle TV.
I love that for a second.
Guzzle TV.
Guzzle TV.
And this is our first crazy video blog. And we're going to talk about something that a lot of people really don't think about, and it's this.
That's
I don't know
lovely,
if you can see
William.
that.
Thank you for bringing that to the table.
Oh, I try. I mean, it's
Mine
something
doesn't
that's
have that.
quite scary and quite frightening. And yes, you actually have the same
do.
thing. But
Look
she
at
has
that.
it with white, and I have it with red.
I'm drinking
And
it
it's
anyway.
what we call a wine that's unfined and unfiltered. Okay? So
And I can drink this.
you can drink
I can
this.
drink this. And I will.
But it's pretty scary when you find this, you know, at the bottom of your bottle or your glass when you pour the entire wine out. Don't be afraid of it. It just means the wine's been made naturally. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a very traditional, very, very classic style of winemaking where you're not pulling all of those sediments out of the wine. This is something that, you know, people have done for thousands of years. Don't be afraid of it, but try to clear it out if you don't like what we call the meat and potatoes of a wine, meaning those sludge. But it doesn't mean the wine's bad. Now with the white wine, if you notice, I'm gonna actually pull that up there. I don't know if you can see that like slight white film. That's actually tartaric crystals. And those tartaric crystals are left when the wine hasn't been cold stabilized. Now cold stabilization is usually something that you're gonna do to the wine when you basically want to freeze or flash freeze the wine, and it clears all of those sediments and deposits out. Nothing wrong with this. You can drink it. It's not going to kill you. It's all good to go. But you might find this if the wine's been left in maybe a fridge, or sometimes when it gets below 32 degrees, those will actually deposit into the wine. But there's nothing wrong with it.
I think this is a good time too to talk about what does a filtered wine mean. So this is unfiltered wine. This was an unfiltered wine, but I don't know if a lot of people realize that sometimes when you filter wine, people use egg whites. So not all wine is vegan.
No, not all wine is vegan, but there's a lot of different ways that you can filter a wine. Generally what you're trying to do is, if it's sitting in barrel, if it's sitting in tank before they put it in bottle, they'll fine and filter it that way. And then there's a second filtration system where they'll actually put it through a fine filter, much like an air filter or something like that you've got in your car or in your home, that will separate all of those solids from the liquids and leave it really clean. But on the flip side of that is that in many ways you're taking away what is the wine in the first place. You want those things to be there and sitting in that wine.
So, William, do you think, do you know, do more Europeans unfilter the wine, or do a lot of American, California, Washington, Oregon, New York, whatever?
Good question. I mean, for the most part, it comes down to the winemaking style. The bigger wineries will generally fine and filtrate their wines as much as possible because they want the consistency there. But a lot of what we call artisanal producers, much like you get a handbag or something like that. Something that's made, a million handbags are always going to be made pretty much the same way, but you'll find some inconsistencies in them just because maybe it's machine made as opposed to be made handmade. The more expensive wines will usually be made like this. They're made very naturally, so they will throw some sediment, or they'll be made with a little bit of what we call the lack of cold stabilization.
And so, an old trick I learned when I was waiting tables a very long time ago, that you put a candle when you're pouring the wine into the decanter to see the sediment. So if you really don't want the sediment there, the candle illuminates the sludge, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? But if you get sludge in your glass, it's okay. Just drink it, kind of get around it. But really, at the end of the day, it's not going to bother you.
No, at the end of the day, it's not going to kill you, and you might find a little more alcohol in it. I know I did.
Well, really all it is fermented grape juice. I put grape juice in my kids' lunch every day. It's just not fermented.
We don't send that to the school district, trust me. But
we should send that to the school. No.
But yeah, long story short, sludge is a good thing. It's not going to kill you. You can drink it, enjoy it. If you don't want it, pull it out. That's what decanting's for.
You can even filter it yourself. Do a little cheesecloth. Little sieve, whatever, prime minister.
Coffee filter,
Yeah.
whatever's sitting around the kitchen.
So this is Becky Creighton and William Davis with Guzzle TV.
Cheers.
Cheers.